Salvator Mundi. In 2017, the art world witnessed an event that instantly entered history. At Christie's auction house, a painting titled Salvator Mundi was sold for $450 million. This price exceeded all previous records and made the artwork the most expensive painting ever sold at auction, a title it still holds today. At the time, many observers compared this sum to the annual budgets of entire countries. What made the sale even more remarkable was the painting's attribution. Salvator Mundi was presented as a work by Leonardo da Vinci himself. For decades, experts had debated whether Leonardo truly painted it, or whether it was created by one of his students or followers. After the auction, it became known that the buyer was the Crown Prince of Saudi Arabia. The painting was expected to become a centerpiece of the Louvre, Abu Dhabi. However, shortly before the planned unveiling, the exhibition was abruptly cancelled. No official explanation was given. A year later, journalists reported that the painting was allegedly being stored on the prince's private yacht. Soon after, disputes over the painting's authenticity resurfaced. Once again, scholars failed to reach a unanimous conclusion. This entire story highlights a striking reality. Centuries after his death, the name Leonardo da Vinci alone is still capable of reshaping the art market and captivating the modern world. Origins: Leonardo was born on April 15, 1452, in the small Tuscan settlement of Anciano, near the town of Vinci. His name was simply Leonardo. The phrase da Vinci was not a surname, but a geographical description from Vinci later attached to him when he became famous. He was the son of Caterina, a peasant woman, and Ser Piero, a Florentine notary. Because of rigid social divisions, his parents could not marry. Soon after Leonardo's birth, they separated. Caterina married another man, while Ser Piero later married a woman from his own social class. Leonardo spent his earliest years with his mother. When he was still a child, his father brought him into his household, where Leonardo gained access to education and opportunity. This early separation from his mother left a lasting impression and would later echo in the emotional depth of his work. Although his father expected him to follow a legal career, Leonardo showed no interest in law. Instead, he constantly observed nature, drew animals, landscapes, and mechanical objects, revealing an unusual and powerful curiosity about how the world worked. Florence and apprenticeship. Recognizing his son's talent, Ser Piero sent Leonardo to Florence, the cultural heart of the Renaissance. There, Leonardo entered the workshop of Andrea del Verrocchio, a renowned artist, sculptor, and engineer. The workshop was not limited to painting alone. Leonardo learned to sculpt, design machines, work with metal, study geometry, and understand materials. This broad education shaped him into a true Renaissance polymath. A famous legend surrounds Verrocchio's painting The Baptism of Christ. According to tradition, Leonardo painted one of the angels with such beauty and realism that his teacher was overwhelmed by his student's talent. Whether or not the story is true, it reflects how exceptional Leonardo already appeared to his contemporaries. By the age of 20, Leonardo was accepted into the Painters Guild. This allowed him to work independently, receive commissions, and establish his own workshop. A new language of art. Leonardo's early paintings already demonstrated a radical break from artistic tradition. In Madonna Benoit, the Virgin Mary is depicted not as a distant sacred icon, but as a living, breathing woman. She interacts naturally with her child, creating a scene of tenderness and intimacy. Leonardo deliberately reduced decorative elements and vivid colors. Instead, he focused on light, shadow, and subtle transitions between forms. This approach allowed him to convey volume, depth, and emotion with unprecedented realism. These innovations marked the emergence of a new artistic language, one that would shape Western painting for centuries. Milan. Beyond painting, Leonardo eventually left Florence and moved to Milan, where he entered the service of the ruling duke. This decision transformed his career. In Milan, Leonardo was valued not only as an artist, but as an engineer, inventor, and problem solver. He designed fortifications, improved defensive structures, and developed ideas for advanced weapons. Among his sketches were early concepts for armored vehicles, multi-barrel firearms, and mechanical devices that anticipated future technologies. Leonardo also worked on theatrical productions, designing elaborate stage machinery and costumes. He even devised tools for cooking and table service. His curiosity knew no boundaries, and his mind constantly shifted between art, science, and engineering. The Last Supper in Milan. Leonardo created one of the most famous images in human history. The Last Supper. Instead of depicting a static religious moment, he chose the instant when Christ announces that one of the apostles will betray him. Each figure reacts differently with disbelief, anger, fear, or confusion. The composition guides the viewer's eye toward Christ while preserving emotional individuality in every face and gesture. Leonardo once again experimented with technique, attempting to improve upon traditional fresco methods. The result was visually stunning, but structurally unstable. Within decades, the painting began to deteriorate. What remains today is a fragile shadow of its original state, a masterpiece that paid the price for innovation. War and power. Italy at the time was not a unified country, but a collection of rival states, constantly engaged in political intrigue and warfare. Leonardo traveled extensively as a military engineer, inspecting fortresses and planning defenses. He later entered the service of Cesare Borgia, a powerful and feared figure. Despite Borgia's reputation, Leonardo approached the role pragmatically. He sought knowledge, experience, and the opportunity to study warfare and leadership firsthand. These years exposed him to the brutal realities of power and ambition, deepening his understanding of human nature. The Mona Lisa, Leonardo's most famous painting, known as the Mona Lisa, remains surrounded by mystery. Although traditionally identified as Lisa del Giocondo, alternative theories continue to circulate. Leonardo never delivered the painting to its client. Instead, he carried it with him for years, continuously refining it. The portrait's subtle smile, delicate shading, and lifelike presence defy simple explanation. Rather than capturing a single moment, the painting seems to exist outside of time, constantly shifting in the viewer's perception. Science and secret notebooks. Beyond painting, Leonardo devoted immense energy to scientific study. He dissected human bodies, carefully documenting muscles, bones, organs, and blood vessels. His anatomical drawings surpassed medical knowledge of his era by centuries. Leonardo recorded his thoughts in notebooks written in mirror script. He also used personal symbols and codes. Whether for secrecy, convenience, or habit, this method made his writings inaccessible to most contemporaries. Today, thousands of pages of these notebooks survive, revealing a mind endlessly questioning nature, motion, life, and the universe. Final years and legacy. Leonardo spent his final years in France under royal patronage. For the first time, he enjoyed complete freedom to think, design, and imagine without constraint. He painted little during this period, focusing instead on architectural ideas, mechanical concepts, and reflection. In 1519, at the age of 67, Leonardo da Vinci died. He left behind relatively few finished paintings, but an immeasurable legacy. Leonardo remains a symbol of human curiosity, a reminder that creativity knows no single discipline, and that the desire to understand the world can transcend centuries.